The fog of dawn hung over a silent lake, its edges concealing distant shores. On the water's edge, dark wooden huts contrasted with luminous flowers growing in bunches on twisted trees. Dante adjusted his cloak against the damp chill. His feet sank into the mud as he followed a narrow path. The only sounds were the crunch of his boots and the distant croaking of a night bird refusing to sleep. Between the trees, faint lights flickered in windows draped with thick curtains, suggesting lives that preferred to remain unseen. A faded map in his pocket marked coordinates that didn't match official ones, the scribbles of a researcher who had vanished years before. Dante wasn't superstitious, but the air carried something beyond humidity, a tension that made his neck prickle. Reaching a crossroads of lichen-covered stones, he spotted recent footprints, larger than a human's, disappearing into a ravine. A metallic odor hung in the air, similar to distant lightning. Hidden in a clearing amongst volcanic rocks, an ancient stone well exhaled colorful vapors that danced under the moonlight. Worn runes encircled its edge, and the air vibrated with a low hum, almost imperceptible. Those who approached too closely felt a pressure in their chests, as if the silence itself were composed of something alive. Dante knelt, his fingers hovering over the carvings. One of the runes glowed upon contact, projecting a fleeting image of celestial spheres colliding. A shard of obsidian, forgotten in the mud, reflected the moon like an open eye. As he picked it up, whispers echoed in his mind, words in a dead language that his body recognized before his memory. The earth trembled briefly and gently, and the well emitted a sound like a sigh. Among the trees, a hooded figure watched, jotting something in a leather-bound notebook before disappearing. Later, in the village of Varia, Dante found Justine, the healer, who offered him sandalwood leaf tea while he examined the shard. "This is not of this world," she said, her fingers tracing golden veins in the stone. "There are stories of an object that fell from the sky centuries ago, capable of revealing truths the mind cannot bear." Outside, children played with rag dolls, mimicking forbidden constellations. Dante inquired about the well, and Justine hesitated. "Some say it's a structure, others, a warning. But all who have used it have returned changed." That night, Dante dreamt of a black sphere growing on the horizon, swallowing stars. He awoke with a cry caught in his throat, the shard pulsing in his hand. At dawn, a messenger arrived with news of an anomaly detected by telescopes, an unknown asteroid charting a collision course with the planet. In the forest, the well now glowed with its own light, its inscriptions radiating heat. Dante and Justine followed it, finding the hooded figure, a historian named Tarsa, who admitted to stealing records from a secret order. "They want to control what comes from the sky," he said, showing star charts with patterns that echoed the well's runes. "This place isn't an artifact. It's a warning." As they discussed, the ground trembled again, and the sky darkened abruptly, though the sun should have been high. A long shadow fell over the clearing, not from a cloud, but from something between the stars. The obsidian shard burned Dante's palm, revealing a vision. The asteroid wasn't a rock, but an artificial structure, its grooves aligned with the well's inscriptions. At the abandoned observatory atop the mountain, rusted equipment still recorded data. Justine adjusted broken lenses, projecting flickering holograms of the anomaly. "It's not just an asteroid," she murmured. "It's a fragmented consciousness." Dante recalled Justine's stories of choices and sacrifices. Tarsa, silent until then, revealed a final clue. "The Order believes the asteroid carries something that created us or will destroy us by trying." Outside the observatory, a group of armed men arrived, led by a pale-eyed man in an unmarked uniform. "Dr. Varro," Dante said, recognizing the name of the missing researcher. "You are late," Varro replied, his voice devoid of inflection. "The seed has already chosen its host." As conflict loomed, the well began to emanate unbearable light, its runes bleeding silvery liquid. Dante, holding the shard, saw a memory not his own, an ancient civilization confronted by a cosmic threat, sacrificing themselves to seal the seed within a celestial body. Now awakened, it sought a new host, someone with compatible blood, like his. Varro, revealing himself as an agent of a faction that believed in surrender to the seed, ordered his men to fire. Justine, using a powder that created illusions, distracted them, while Tarsa activated a sequence within the runes. The well roared, opening a portal that sucked Dante's shard into it. In the sky, the asteroid slowed, as if hesitating. The village of Varia was in panic upon their return. The asteroid, visible to the naked eye, cast distorted shadows that whispered to the inhabitants. Children repeated phrases in ancient tongues, and animals fled into the forests. Dante, wounded, realized the shard had left marks on his skin, symbols identical to the runes. Varro, intercepting them in the central square, offered a partnership. You are the key. Together, we can negotiate with what is to come. Justine, however, pointed to the sky. They are already here. A rain of lights fell, not of stars, but of dark ships hovering over the lake. The well, even from a distance, pulsed in response. Dante, torn between curiosity and fear, walked to the center of the village, where one of the ships landed. The door opened, revealing not aliens, but a distorted reflection of himself, holding a shard identical to his. The truth unfolded in layers. The seed wasn't a weapon, but a fragmented consciousness, seeking to reunite. Each host, throughout history, had contributed memories and choices, shaping its final form. Dante, touching his reflection, saw alternate realities. One where he accepted Varro, another where he destroyed the well, another where he became part of the seed. Justine, using her knowledge of herbs, prepared a tea that amplified his perception, allowing him to see the asteroid's true heart, a core of pure energy, capable of rewriting matter, but lacking direction. Tarsa, sacrificing himself to disable a trap in the well, gave Dante the choice, to merge with the seed and guide it, or to let it follow its uncertain and potentially catastrophic course. As the asteroid entered the atmosphere, Dante ascended to the observatory, where Varro tried to control the seed via satellites. You don't understand, Varro said, desperate. It will judge us for our divisions, our wars. Dante, however, remembered the children of Varia, the whispers of the well, the civilization that had chosen sacrifice. We are not worthy, he replied, but we are also not just our mistakes. Using the shard, he synchronized with the seed, not to control it, but to show it the complexity of life, the beauty and cruelty, the hope and violence. The ship over the lake emitted a harmonious sound, and the asteroid disintegrated into particles of light, causing no harm. The next morning, the lake shimmered with a new hue, and the well's runes were extinguished. Dante, now marked by luminous scars, departed without looking back, carrying the certainty that the threat had never been cosmic, but a mirror. The lake now reflected a golden light, as if the sun itself had fractured and deposited its fragments in the water. Dante walked along the shore, the scars on his right hand throbbing in time with the ships that still hovered over the forest. Justine collected samples of a lichen that had suddenly grown on the rocks near the well, its leaves exuding a strong ozone smell. This isn't normal, she said, storing the vials in a leather pouch. It's absorbing energy from the seed. Tarsa, even after his death, left detailed notes on the radiation patterns emitted by the asteroid, now reduced to fireflies dancing in the night sky. Varro had vanished, leaving behind a journal with coordinates of other identical wells scattered across the planet. In the village, the villagers avoided Dante, their whispers following like shadows. Children who once played with dolls now drew symbols on the hut's walls, perfect replicas of the well's runes. One, no more than 7 years old, handed Dante a drawing of a man split in two, one half bright, the other dark. You are both, the girl said before running away. Justine found records in an ancient underground temple speaking of a cycle of balance between hosts and seeds. They don't choose heroes, she explained, only reflections. You saw what the seed could be. Now it sees what you are. Days passed, and the asteroid's particles began to cluster into geometric formations in the sky, casting shadows that distorted the landscape. When Dante touched one of the scars, he had flashes of a future city, where towers grew like trees nourished by the seed's energy. In another vision, he saw the village of Varia in ruins, its inhabitants transformed into statues of solid light. Varro reappeared, this time accompanied by men in uniforms of corporations Dante recognized from war reports. The seed wasn't destroyed, Varro stated. You merely divided it. Now everyone wants a piece. Dante, now more than a man, became a figure of transition. His eyes reflected not only the lake's light, but also the weight of all choices made and not made. He knew the seed was neither enemy nor ally. It was simply the expression of something greater, something seeking understanding. Gradually, he began to understand that his role wasn't to dominate, but to guide, and that true strength lay in accepting duality. As the villagers of Varia tried to reclaim their lives, Dante retreated to a place where nature still held its ancient magic. There, among rocks and trees, he sat in silence, listening to the wind carry stories from distant worlds. The shard in his hand glowed softly, a reminder that he was no longer just a man, but part of something much larger. And even as the world around him moved forward, he knew his journey wouldn't end there. On the horizon, new stars emerged, each carrying a piece of the seed. Dante stood, looked at the sky, and smiled. The golden light of the lake shimmered like a mirror, reflecting not just the present, but all the possibilities yet to come. And so he departed, leaving behind what was, to walk toward what could be.